brave today, and we're going to attempt to print a Nintendo 64 logo in gold. And I'm going to give it away to the best super chat. That's right, the best super chat of this live stream will own this Nintendo 64 3D print. So be generous, be kind, don't make me regret it, okay? All right, here we go. What do you think, guys? Is that a good angle? Will that do right there? I think that's perfect, actually, don't you? I have a different mount today to help. So without further ado, let's get started. Gold Nintendo 64 logo. This is supposed to be the medium size. So we'll see if I have the correct file because I didn't name it properly. So it's either going to be the medium size or really small. Sorry about the nasty reflections. The wall paint in this room is very, very reflective. Like, very reflective. I'm going to need to do something about that in the near future. But for now, you're just going to deal with it. That looks good. Maybe one touch brighter. And away we go. Okay, so it failed. Failed to adhere, which is a problem I've been having with the gold filament. We're gonna give it one more shot, and if it bombs out, I'm gonna have to consider leveling the bed again, because it seems to be like if it's not perfect, if the leveling isn't perfect, it's a problem. I'm trying a hotter temperature this time. A hotter temperature for the filament and a hotter temperature for the bed as well, just to help it adhere. If that don't work, then I'll have to consider other things like re-leveling the bed, or some people even put like a little glue stick or a little hairspray on the bed to help it stick. So we'll see what happens. I think it actually looks pretty good though. So it's a matter of can it print the 4 feet, because it's once the 4 feet are printed, then we're usually doing a lot better. Let's see how it happens right here. That's all 4. That's all 4. Yo, Dave. Those 4 feet are the real ticket right there. Those 4 golden squares. Like if I don't get them right, then the whole thing is a waste. The whole thing's a botch. And it looks like we've got it. This is real tough stuff. I'm learning. I'm an old dog learning new tricks all the time, trying to make something happen here, you know? Oh wow, all of a sudden people want to talk to me and join my live stream. What's the occasion, guys? I think I need to set up a second light so there's less shadowing on this side. I'm gonna prepare to do that. But yeah, that's 4 golden squares. Again, if all 4 stick, the rest of the build should be okay. We'll see. I'm trying to build a large N64 logo, but so far the builds are stopping in like middle of the logo and it starts to print on thin air. I don't know what's causing that, but I'm gonna work on it. Yeah, the birds won't shut the F up today. I'm gonna go check them out. The birds are actually right to the left of this machine, right next to the door. This is a room just behind my studio, and the birds are right outside the door of both, of course. Hit the like button, guys. Yeah, I was at my mother's house for hours, you pay attention, with a giant chainsaw on a pole. And holy crap, I'm so sore now from that. Cutting down a bunch of trees that were like looming over my mother's yard and her deck and dangerous. And I had this giant chainsaw on a pole. It was the worst. But and then my mom would be like, you know, I cut the pieces afterwards. I'd cut them off the tree. And then I would chop them up into smaller pieces. And she'd be like, no, they're not small enough. Smaller. No, cut it there. Cut it there. No, cut it here. I'm like, Mom, for every time you make me cut it smaller, it's it's one more cut I have to make. So if I cut like 4-inch sections of log, 4-foot sections, and she makes me cut 2-foot sections instead, do the math. It's twice as many prints. twice as many cuts. I want to get closer, but I don't know how to explain it to you guys, but I can't because of the way my tripod legs are butting up against the desk that this machine is on. But I'm going to work on that. That is the closest I can get. But yeah, this is not going to be... Yeah, the big N64 logo printed for an hour into space. I had no idea. It's printed in thin air. Oh, it's working. How about that? How about that? Sweet sauce. I'll be back. I'm going to try to get a second light to put up here so I can light future ones better. I guess I can do it next time, next stream. It's always good to see Dave the cow. It's always good to come back after 3 hours and find out something didn't print. This one's going to print. I'm feeling good about it. Gold Nintendo 64 logo. I was up last night for 2 hours in here leveling the bed, trying to get it just right. I actually have a piece of equipment coming, an upgrade to this thing that will detect the bed so that if there's a problem with the print, it can sound an alarm. And I have different screws coming in for the knobs underneath this thing to help adjust the bed and keep it where I put it more firmly. Seems like the adjustments move. Like it could be level and then you print perfectly, and then the next print, S-H-I-T. Now, did I specify whether or not it actually has to successfully print? Otherwise, I'm just going to give away the 4 boots in the bottom. So this is gold, and I got this gold filament for Bitcoins from my Etsy store. And boy, I spent, I can't tell how many hours trying to make it work. I just couldn't get it to work. And finally, after much hours leveling the bed, I printed Bitcoins. This morning in gold, it came out absolutely perfect. I streamed them on Greg Adventure YouTube. So very exciting. Very exciting. Golden squares. I feel like the angle is too much on the machine itself. But the machine is raising, so, you know, it'll get better. What do I know? I don't know nothing. I have hundreds of streams under my belt, but I still don't know a damn thing. Is that better? Like you can actually see the nozzle now? Right? You can, right? You guys can see the nozzle? Oh yeah, you can see the nozzle. Me like. Ian, please stop. Come on. Be nice. So far, so how are things in the UK, Mr. Cow? What's the good word? I have to go to my little studio and fire up my little product photography light box and get some pictures of my new fancy Bitcoins. I'm waiting for my first Etsy order for a 3D print. I haven't made one yet, but I'm hoping it comes soon. Ooh, fancy. Look at that. Prestidigitation. Prestidigitation. Prestidigitation is a good word. So Dave, things are going for prestidigititious for Dave the cow. Prestidigitation. According to Google, prestidigitation, pronounced prestidigitation. 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 Magic tricks performed as entertainment. I mean, it's actually less syllables to say magic tricks performed as entertainment than to say prestidigitation. This spell is a minor magic trick that novice spellcasters use for practice. You create one of the following magic effects with it. Oh, that's for D&D or something. What is prestidigitation? A show of skill or deceitful cleverness. For example, his writing was peppered with verbal tricks and prestidigitation, a performance of or skill in performing magic or conjuring tricks with the hands. For example, my favorite prestidigitation was when he pulled the live dove out of the tiny scarf. I just posted some behind the scenes pictures over at Discord since I really can't do it here. I guess I could use the community tab. That would require leaving the stream, and that's no good. Yeah, yeah, along our beautiful coast, our beautiful East Coast, we're getting pounded with some serious stuff. And even being a few hours from where it's really the nastiest, we're getting plenty of anger, residual anger from it from a distance. But down in Florida, North Carolina, where Zoe is right now, real nasty stuff. And we've had some fun weather here in New Jersey, where I'm only, 50-ish minutes from the coast. Yeah, man, I don't know. It's like every couple of years, you just can't catch a darn break. Just getting screwed constantly. And it's funny is you just never know what's going to happen because they'll predict, this unbelievable weather, and then it doesn't really materialize, or last minute it changes course or dissipates or whatever. Or maybe they, won't be as alarmed about it, and then we get hammered. So the people who are really in the bad areas, they get like preparation fatigue almost. Like you don't know when to take it seriously, like when to spend all your free time preparing your property for floods and whatnot, when it's going to be for nothing and when it's going to be legit. But right now, fun times. Matter of fact, I just got a text from an aunt asking me if these storms are going to affect Zoe, who's in North Carolina. And of course, like literally the first day she was there, we got slammed with storms. So Murphy's Law, of course. So I'm streaming this off an iPhone. It's mounted on a Joby phone mount. And it's interesting because it's definitely not as reliable streaming off a phone as streaming off like a webcam or something hooked up to my computer. But interesting is that the phone has the camera on the right side of it if you hold it portrait. So when I hold it landscape, the camera's on the bottom of the phone. So the camera is like right here, which helps me get like a direct shot kind of under the nozzle here. But looking outside right now, it's, cloudy and dark, but not too terrible. Not too great either. This weekend was cloudy and looked like storms. It literally looked like storms like every day, all day. So we couldn't go out or do nothing. Just kept waiting for the storms. But it never really came this weekend. So far, I think we are going to successfully print this N. It's looking that way. So that's exciting. More light or less light? Oh man, you're right. Less light, right? Let you see more detail. Like that's too bright, right? That's better. What do you guys think? Tell me, A or B or C, which is, yeah. See, in person it looks great, but on my phone screen it doesn't. That right here or that right here? Anything more seems too much. So which one? This or this? A, B, A, B. No, what was I thinking? What was I thinking? We get hammered now, of course. I'm going with A. Dave always wins. Poor Dave. I see some stringing in the back. I have a feeling we have a failed logo. Oh no, we do. It fell. Oh no, it fell. Oh, crud. Dave, you saw that? I'm standing in front of it and didn't see it. Oh, I wish I saw it sooner. I haven't had any failed prints until doing these gold prints. I mean, I had no failed prints prior to gold. I don't know if they were about to be combined too. They were about to be combined, and once they're combined, we would we'd be good to go for sure. We'd be totally good to go. Unfortunately, we didn't make it. What happened is the little foot, you can see the base is very minor. It's very thin, like the base is very small. It doesn't adhere really well. It could be knocked over, and it was knocked over. And what happens is it's printing, right? It's printing on this pointy edge. Tokon Ratsuden, New Japan Pro Wrestling. So it's printing on the tip here and pushed it over. That's exactly what happened. I could try getting the bed a little hotter, or the filament a little hotter, make it stick a little better. Or I could try a touch of hairspray. Or I can just make sure that it's leveled. Just make sure it's leveled. Because what happens is the leveling gets out of whack. Leveling this sucker is difficult. And what else is difficult? Having plugs all over the place. So See, that's too, this is how I remember which way is up and down for my nozzles for tightening. That's a very professional method. Did it happen right at that moment? So I think we might have a leveling issue again, but it seems to be like every 2 seconds there's a leveling issue, which I have to figure out how to deal with. Okay. Yeah, see, that's a little, it's a little too loose to the board over there. So we're gonna adjust the touch. What do you guys think? Should I try again, or should I quit? Can't wait till my upgrades come. They're going to help me. Supposedly an auto leveling thing and new springs that will hold their firmness better. They were $7 for new springs. I'm going the wrong way. Gee, this much change? All I printed was 6 Bitcoins. Since 2 hours of leveling it yesterday. I printed 6 Bitcoins and that's it. Granted, they came perfectly. They sure dizzled. So basically I'm turning springs that raise and lower the bed. And that adjusts the closeness to the board of the print nozzle. You can see it's a little too loose. I feel like it's a little too, geez, I almost pulled on the nozzle. A little too loose in that back corner. So we're going to work on bring up this back a touch. Yeah, that's it. I think that's going to do it. Nobody likes a quitter? Well, how about a super chat then? Because this stuff's expensive. And doing it live is stressful. But I'm going to try. All right, because I don't want to be called a quitter. So we've thrown off. We've blown off the gold here. And we're going to go back, print. We're going to try again. We're going to tune a little bit. Bed temperature, 65. Nozzle temperature. I'm going to go up just a couple of extra degrees. Just to see if that helps. Keep it stick to the bed. 66 bed temperature. Wow, thank you, Mr. Desaad. Holy crap, thank you. For someone who basically trolls my stream the entire time. I appreciate the super chat. That helped me with the wasted filament and of course the wasted time standing here for $0. So we're going to go out again. That was a real quick and dirty bed leveling adjustment. You can't see it, but off to the right is the screen. I hope to have multiple angles if people do show interest in these streams and we continue doing them. so you can actually see the screen, which is warming up, which is right there. So we're going to get this nozzle to 206, and we're going to get the bed to 66. Right now it's 61 of 66, and the nozzle here is 159 of 206. As you can see, it's increasing at a rapid pace. The good news is, after all that A being the light, that I moved it all. So that's great news right there. Because, you know, consistency is seriously overrated. I mean, who cares about consistency, right? In your videography. But thank you for the super chat. Ethan being the current super chat leader. That's how I roll. Over. Super chat leader and current owner of this right here. Here you go. There's your 3D N64 logo. It's all yours. There you go. Wow, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That probably recoup my piles of lost gold filament as I decide whether or not this gold filament is ever going to work out, or if I'm just the worst 3D printer in the history of man. Do you guys like this angle? Because I know it's really low, but I feel like it lets you see the nozzle on that N64 logo. So it's purging the filament right now. It's purging it, right? It's going to just make sure it's all melted and that there's no clogs. So this guideline is being printed. And here goes the skirt. And yeah, I guess you can kind of see the nozzle. So that's super cool. It's throwing me off that I'm looking at my iPad for the live stream, plus the phone, plus the print. Okay, highest super chat owns the N64 3D printed logo. And by who matches it, I'll make you another one. How's that? How's that for a deal? Who matches the highest? I'll make you another one. It'll only take me 12 attempts and 10 hours. It is super hot in this room. I question the temperature. I don't know if I can turn my air up and cool it down a bit because I'm hot. So there's your first 4 legs. They're good. What happens is it prints them from the feet up, and then it prints in this diagonal manner, right, to create the ends legs. And when the diagonals eventually touch, and that's when it becomes a solid block. Problem is, the way this thing is being printed, there's no supports. A support would be like an extra piece of 3D printing to keep something from toppling over, but there are no supports. And it starts to print on the, the overhang of the end, which can push it off the plate, the board here, whatever you call this thing. Platter, I don't know. Nobody likes a quitter. It is so hot in here, even with the air on. This thing gets a tad warm. All right, so we have success so far. The 4 bases are there of a hotter bed at 66. I did tell it to increase the nozzle temperature, but this G-code file keeps lowering it. So I just raised it again, but not as much as I actually planned originally because it's too late. It's already contacting the board, right? So I wanted it to be a little hotter when it contacted the board to help it stick. But that's too late. So now we're moving up to 203. Originally I wanted 205, but the file reset it to 200. I didn't notice. And I think I'm gonna need some lunch. So I don't know if I could sit here the whole time and chat while this thing prints. I'm hungry. So far it looks decent. What do you think? See, by leveling the board, that first layer, that first critical layer, you make sure it gets printed firmly against the board properly. Whereas if it's not level, one side will get printed firmly and the other side won't. It'll print. It won't have enough pressure up against the platter here to stick. And that can cause your print to fail for obvious reasons. Not to mention that it's printing like uneven. So I think problem is it's a 0.1 millimeter distance from this plate. And it's little cheap springs that are holding it there. So if those little springs don't hold their firmness, you're in trouble. That's why I have better springs coming in the mail. That's recommended to me. It says 35 minutes. That's not a long print. My JCP&L bill is 4 digits, and they threaten me constantly. And I'm on a payment plan constantly. And if you miss by a day, they cancel your payment plan, and then you want all the money. And then it's don't even get me started with JCP&L. They don't give a crap. And yeah, with all the computers I run Play with Greg and Greg Adventure and all this, my bill stuff. But don't worry, I've got $10 now, so I'm good. I actually want to stream Super Animal Royale. It's out on Switch now, which is very exciting because Dave the Cow can play. Little AC is cooling it down here a bit. I'm actually in what used to be Zoe and Penny's bedroom. Penny no longer comes here, and Zoe is in college. So this is sitting on what was once Zoe's dresser. Actually, Penny's dresser. Penny's dresser. And to the right, I have a resin printer and a resin wash and cure machine that have yet to be even turned on. And they're on what was their school desk. I'm looking forward to trying the resin printer. Of course, sharing the process with all you peeps. 35 minutes, it says. I'm gonna stick around until it connects those two legs. Yeah, well, it kind of looks like that's what I did to the last one. It's just a pile of rubble. You know, I could infill it some more. It looks like it's set to very minimal infill. I could try infilling it some more, which would make it heavier. I also noticed there's some stringy garbage on top of that leg. On top of that failed leg, there's some stringy garbage. So I'm not sure if it fell over or there was a fail at the nozzle that put some stringy crap on it. And that stringy crap is what pulled it off. So like when it prints and it doesn't adhere to anything, right? It ends up just becoming like almost like fish poo. Like a fish poo, like it's got that stringy poo. It ends up being this, you know, string of filament. And unfortunately, the machine doesn't know. And it'll drag that filament around and ruin everything. So, for example, if you print 10 coins and one coin fails to print because it doesn't adhere, it'll just print nothing but string all over the place when it gets to that coin's location on the platter. Then it drags it all over, ruins the other coins. Don't ask me how I learned that. No comment. So we're reaching the point where they're going to touch soon. You guys can just barely see the nozzle, right? Unfortunately, at this angle, you won't see much of the 3 dimensions of the logo or the top of the logo because it's so straight on. So I don't know if I should fix that for you guys or what. But at the moment, what you're seeing, I think, is a really good shot. And there's several millimeters from touching still. They're not even close. So guys, welcome. This is, what do you call this? Filament with Greg or 3D with Greg? Printing with Greg. Here's Printing with Greg. My newest venture, 3D printing. Don't forget to super chat. We will give this logo away to the highest super chatter. It says we have 5 viewers, which is really cool. Thanks, guys. I'm gonna step into my office for just a few moments. So they're about to connect. But yeah, there could be like, you see how there's a single layer, like zone mapped out around the entire project? It could do a single layer like that, or even two or three horizontally around the whole project, just to keep it standing. So when it's done, you simply just snap it off, because it would be very, very thin. Or you just make those bottom portions of the end fatter. Since they're the base anyway, it would be acceptable for them to be fatter. But, you know, oh, it's about to touch. This is it. I think we're down to one more pass before they touch. Keep in mind, you can't see all the angles, but they're all the same shape, just facing different directions. Oh boy, you see how it's got a print way out on the edge of that overhang. So if that overhang, I mean, if it's not adhering just right, it's gonna topple over. It's gonna be more passes. It's not ready yet. I want to say 2 more passes. Who knows? But it's close. It's scary. Oh my. Oh my. See, it's infilling right there, which is for strength. It's basically printing a triangular pattern inside. I might have wanted to increase that infill to make it a little heavier. You'd be shocked how light this thing is. When you touch it, you'll be like, oh my God, like that's it? You guys like it darker like this? Is it easier to see? Or brighter, like that? This light is a real low-cost light. It was sent to me. And it has adjustments, but they're just not minimal enough adjustments. Gee, this takes a long time. This is a slow print. But I think leveling the board is honestly the whole thing. It's really leveling the board's the whole thing. Because when it adheres properly, it's really tight. Like you have to really snap it off. I just gotta... Why do I build logos? Why not? I think they're awesome. Where else can you get an N64 logo like this in 3D? And gold, come on now. I don't know, it's just cool, it's fun. I like video games, I love the Nintendo 64. Nintendo 64 has a massive following to this day, so why not? I do see an imperfection on the face of that end. I don't think it's a big deal, but it's there. It's on the face of the end over here too. So it's in the file. Must be in the file, but I printed these in gray. I didn't mention. Man, it's still not touching. Whew. It's my new. I'm not complaining. I'm hoping to put these on my Etsy store. I need to make some bucks in this house. So why not? Alright, sorry guys, I'm just kind of mesmerized by this. It's so close. I think we're good. You know what's weird? The chat keeps going away. I have the app open on iPad for YouTube, and the chat just disappears. Pie, you gotta change your name, Pie Die Pie. It sounds too much like Pootie Pie, which belongs to somebody else. Obviously, somebody who's very large. So you need to give yourself your own identity. You know, something that's just you, your creation. There you go. The connection's happening right now. That's gonna be it, folks. Oh, it's not a flaw. That's the N. That's the V of the N. Gee, and they still haven't connected yet. This is a scary design. I mean, look at all that weight up top, standing on that tiny little base. Yay, success. It's going to be printing the touch. I wonder if anyone knows how to keep the chat open on the iPad app for YouTube. It disappears and I have to reopen the chat after every few seconds. And every time it says, welcome to chat, reminder, and then it fades away. Maybe it's because no one typed. Maybe if someone typed, it would pop up. That could be it. Oh, please work. What do you think? Did it connect? Can you guys tell? Oh. When you chatted, it popped up. But then disappeared again. Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, yes. That's what I was looking for. Yes, yes. Okay. So in full screen, you chat, it pops up. And then it goes away because no one else chatted, and like the chat disappears until the next chat pops up. But when it's not in full screen mode, there's the little chat bar on the side. Got it. I don't really use the mobile. I live on my Microsoft Surface. All right, guys, it's official. This is the connecting layer for what finally. I mean, there's like 0% chance of this failing at this point. It's now printing across the pieces to connect them together. It's bridging them right now. So it makes a rectangular shape across the two pieces, and then it provides a light fill. See, here goes, look. Can you see how it's going across? Victory is ours. We are going to have a gold N64 logo. See, if I got brave, I could make the platter print, the machine print 2 or 3 at a time. But I'd have to be sure it's leveled perfectly and that they're not going to fail. Or else it would, if one leg fails, the whole thing is a waste. Wow, that's super cool. Success! Woot woot! Very happy. I was concerned about this gold filament. I was having a lot of trouble. I'm going to take a picture of my temperature settings. I'm learning, guys. I'm an old dog, and I try to learn new tricks, you know? Try not to fall behind in the world. So Play with Greg can remain alive for a long time and do new things. 203 and 66 are the temperatures. I just closed the chat by accident. What's up, friends? We are live streaming on youtube.com/playwithgreg, or you just go playwithgreg.com and it takes you there. We are printing a Nintendo 64 3D logo in silk gold filament, live on the stream. And the highest super chat is going to own this logo. I'm going to take it home. So there's on my Joby phone mount right there. This thing is really awesome, this Joby phone mount. And it's this is just a cheap little arm that's getting it forward a bit more, but the Joby actually mounts right here. This is a pretty awesome 3D light. So just a China brand, actually, nothing spectacular, but I'll link to a good brand, a newer brand, in my description. This is a nice video tripod. It's a nice aluminum tripod. And this is an Ender 3D. This is gold PLA filament from a interesting brand on Amazon. I don't remember the brand name, but I'll link to that in the description as well on YouTube. And here we are printing the Nintendo 64 Gold logo. Oh, it crashed. The Instagram app crashed. And I was about to show my people on the live stream my little iPad that I'm doing to my Instagram. And it crashed. So here is the N64 Gold logo that I'm printing before my Instagram app actually crashed. It's looking pretty good so far. And my YouTubers are right here on that little camera. See them? There they are. There's Instagram right there. I can't even find it. Nope. There it is. There it is on my iPad screen. Looks good so far. We'll see what happens. That's my little home studio setup for my 3D printing. I just made a little behind the scenes video for my Play with Greg story on Instagram that many people would like to see. You never know. Who knows? I'm going to post a couple of pictures to Discord so you guys can see what's happening behind the scenes. Oh, it's fuzzy. My iPad's old and doesn't take great pictures. And Discord's really bad about uploading pictures. It doesn't do a great job. I think that picture came good. Oh, sorry, I closed YouTube. I can't see the chat. My bad. I'm going to let it finish, guys. Look at that beautiful N. Is anybody still here to see the beautiful finish of this? I'm starved. I need to eat some lunch, but it's almost done, so I want to see it finish. What a nice view too we got here, huh?